All right. Looks like we're good to go here. So I'm going to start off just so everybody knows, because I mostly just work with Diane with HPBA. My name is Dave Colclaw. I am a part of the partnership team here at Home Advisor, and really what my role is to really just drive our partnership essentially, and get as many SPs in the program, service professionals, as possible, because you guys have some very good discounts and rebates that you should definitely be taking advantage of. And Diane and I just thought it was a good idea to kind of have as many people on board to just listen to really what I have to say here in terms.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can.
All right, there's been some issues with the muting and unmuting. I was trying to mute everyone, but I think I ended up muting myself there. Sorry about that. So like I was saying, everything's moving to these app-based platforms, and consumer demand is, on demand is really where consumer trends are going. And there's just so much information out there, and that's why we're seeing a trend where consumers want things done now, and really service professionals just can't keep up with it. So that's why Home Advisor and companies like us have been so successful lately in the marketing realm. So where we are today, about 9 out of 10 homeowners research options online before hiring a pro. More than 40% of homeowners wouldn't even consider hiring a pro that doesn't have an online presence. And homeowner satisfaction is twice as high when they book an appointment online. And that's really where we come in. We have about 60 million consumers in our network, and just right about 200,000 service professionals. So, I mean, there's a wide gap there, and we're doing the best that we can, along with other players in the industry, to close that gap. And we have some very interesting lead types that came out in 2018, which helped do that, and I'll talk about in a little bit. But a little bit more on consumer behavior. While we have all this information at our fingertips, 73% of homeowners still ask their friends and neighbors for recommendations when hiring a pro. 1 in 3 do it because they don't know where else to go. But it's a starting point. They simply are trying to find a direction, but a referral alone doesn't typically give consumer everything that they're looking for. So they go online, and that's when referrals associated with online presence, background checks, great ratings and reviews really help you stand out to the competition. And again, that's why we're here. And most people think that when consumers are going online, they're looking for the lowest cost. But Home Advisor did a study that we directed out to consumers just after they ended up completing a project with one of our service pros. And this is the trends that we were seeing. Consumers are going to Home Advisor and picking pros based on the high rating scores, and they're not just out there kicking tires looking for the lowest cost. That was actually the last option, as you can see, that we saw in terms of trends. But to shift to the service professional side for a minute, for a variety of reasons, contractors can't always keep up with the rapidly changing expectations that I was just talking about in terms of consumers' expectations. The chart shows some consumer truths about what homeowners are saying and why they didn't hire a pro. It shows the importance of the mentality of consumers have been experiencing about how they want things right now. So let's talk about the HPBA benefits in the program. So what you receive if you're an HPBA member with Home Advisor is leads created by homeowners with specific needs. Tailored, you can then create a profile, which I'll get into in a little bit, tailored specifically to your business and what your business needs are. And you also get a 7% rebate, which is one of the best rebates that we have with a partner. And I'm very excited, as always, to be presenting and working with HPBA because you guys have been fantastic. Working with Diane has been fantastic, which I'm glad that you guys have such a great rebate compared to others. And you also get webinars such as this. So whenever we have updated information, this is when we would decide to have a webinar. This one's a little bit more in depth and a little bit longer just because this is the first webinar that HPBA and Home Advisor have done in quite a while, and the first one that I've done since being HPBA's Strategic Partnership Manager. So I just took a look. It is tough since you guys are an association, it is difficult to find some data for you, but I just wanted to pull this, which is essentially the top tasks that HPBA members have been taking on with Home Advisor over the last year and a half. Actually, a little bit more than a year and a half, about 2 years. I pulled this from February of 2017 till now, so just over 2 years. And you'll see again, these are just the top 10 tasks that are out there. So one recommendation that I would have, if you're an HPBA member that hasn't signed up with Home Advisor yet, these would be some of the top tasks that I would look at if you do end up deciding to set up an account with us. So now I just want to dive into the different lead types that we have and the qualification process that we have for each lead. So there's 6 different types: market match, exact match, instant booking, instant connect, job opportunities, and I am missing one, but I'll get to it in a little bit. It's in here. But anyway, for all of our leads, consumers fill out a thorough questionnaire about their home improvement project. The goal is to get as much information as possible. We have a couple different versions of this. One you can see on your screen right now. The other is more of just a scroll path where one question pops up after another and you start filling in the information. One thing to note about the questionnaire is the last page. We ask for contact information. So this is how we avoid those tire kickers that I was talking about a little bit previously. And that's where we actually see an 80% of drop-offs for consumers on Home Advisor. So that's 80% of leads potential leads that we're just having to walk out the door because they're not serious enough. And we're really just looking for the consumers that are looking to get a job done or are planning to get a job done in the near future. So market match. This is the majority of the leads, and this is once the questionnaire is filled out. This is actually when the consumer's information is sent to up to 4 pros, depending on the task. Sometimes we don't always fill those 4 pros. Sometimes it's only 2 or 3, depending on what zip code it is and what task. But this is where we see about 70% of our leads still coming through at HomeAdvisor as a whole. But just some best practices here is just know what you're going to say when you pick up the phone, when you're reaching out to this consumer after you get their information, and also act quick. We see that 50% of sales for market match leads are actually, they go to the first pro that makes contact with the consumer. So if you're just the first person reaching out, you already have really set yourself above and beyond the rest of the competition. And also reach out multiple ways. Don't just reach out via phone. If you have email, if the consumer put in their email address, send an email as well. Shoot them a text, because I know personally, if I was submitting a HomeAdvisor request, I'd want to get a text about it. I wouldn't necessarily want an email, because everyone knows that they have junk emails that come through 10 to 100 times a day. So you don't want to get lost in there. So give a call, shoot a text, send an email, do all the above to just get out there and in front of the consumer. The next type of lead is an exact match. So this is generated when the homeowner has decided to make a deliberate choice and select you for the project. So this is when they're going through our live directory. Let's say that they're just looking for a hardscape project in, for instance, let's just say Los Angeles. And they're going through that live directory and they stumble upon your profile. They like what they see, they like the ratings, the pictures that you've put up there, and they decide to click on get a quote, and they fill out some more information, and that goes directly to you. Again, just some keys to success is the consumer's already interested. So it's already a warm connection, but you want to reach out right away still, just like market match. They're excited about you. You should be excited about them as well. Just know what you're saying before you hop on the phone. Know your sales pitch. Again, that's just some of the best practices that we have for all of our lead types, but especially market match and exact match. So instant booking, this is one of our newer leads that came out in 2018. It allows it allows consumers to book appointments through the availability you have listed on your profile. You can add pricing guidance as well. And one key to success that we have here is make sure that you're syncing up any calendar that you use, any app that you use. So Outlook, Google, and you can specifically set to when you'll be in the office, or you can go into the field and meet with the consumer. And this has actually been one of the highest converting lead types that we have. Instant booking leads usually convert to a job 70% of the time. So definitely something to look into, and there's best practices on the Pro Portal as well for you to learn more about instant booking and exactly how to set it up. So another type of instant connect lead, and that actually goes for all of our opportunity leads. So instant booking, instant connect, job opportunities, and appointment requests. Those four, they're videos and demos to show you on the Pro Portal exactly how to set those up. But back to this, so Instant Connect, that is when a consumer is filling out the questionnaire that I spoke about right before the market match leads, and a little thumbnail pops up and asks them if they would like to connect with a pro right now, rather than sending out their information and having pros reach out to them. This is a more proactive consumer. So if that's the case, they select yes. HomeAdvisor, I should say not a HomeAdvisor rep, but kind of like a robo voice, if you will, starts reaching out to pros in the area, excuse me, and starts and gives them some information about the lead. Let's, again, with the hardscape in Los Angeles, it would be a robot voice along the lines of saying, there's a lead in Los Angeles related to a hardscape project. I believe they also give kind of the time frame on that call, as well as when they would like the job completed, if they filled that out. And then you can either click 1 to accept that or 2 to deny it. And you're only charged if you accept the lead. So Instant Connect, that's one thing to know. You can receive these kind of really whenever they're coming in, and you're not instantly being charged for it. It's up to you whether you want to accept or not, which is a great feature. So appointment request. When gathering project information, we ask consumers if they'd like to book within 72 hours. If yes, this becomes an appointment request lead, and we go out to pros in the area. Pros have about 3 minutes to be the first one to respond to the job after looking at basic lead information. Whoever responds first and says that they want the job, that is who the job is awarded to, and that's when you would be charged. A few things to note about this is to be eligible, you have to keep your ratings and review, your ratings above a 4.0. And just, you should set up so you receive lead notifications via email and text because you have to act fast. These, again, usually only last about 3 minutes before a pro accepts. And job opportunities. So job opportunities, this lead type is generated when, again, a consumer has gone through the market match path, but we're actually unable to connect them with a pro. It could happen because everybody in that area has their leads turned off. It could happen because every pro in that area has already reached their spend target. And so this actually ends up, we end up shotgunning this lead out to pros that are just outside of that area, and also to pros that have their leads turned off. And you get, again, all the lead information. But one thing that I think is a great feature about this lead is that both the consumer and the service professional have to opt into the lead together. It's kind of like a match.com, if you will, like an online dating. You both have to accept the lead. And you're only charged, again, if both accept. And so I'm going to dive into some best practices and recommendations for success. But right before that, I'm going to take a quick sip of water, so bear with me. All right, so the Pro Portal. When you get started with Home Advisor, your Pro Portal is where you'll manage really everything. Your leads, update your profile, request reviews. I'd recommend spending some time using the tool every day if you're a new member, because there's a bountiful amount of information. Similar to what I talked about those opportunity leads, how there's information about how to set it up. There's also articles, tips. There's really, in our resources center, there's an abundance of information. We also highly encourage downloading the Pro Portal. This makes it a lot easier when we send out those opportunity leads because you can respond quickly via text or messaging through the app. And it's really just an added feature because we've noticed that, like you have, that everybody is going to these app-based platforms. Everybody's on their phone. Not many people have desktops anymore. It's mostly just a tablet, which you can download there as well, or people are on a laptop. But really, everybody's on their phone nowadays, so this is a great added bonus for you. And so one of the most important things you can do is complete your profile. The profile is a way to get consumers to call you directly, and pros who have a robust profile receive 60% more contacts. This is your resume, your online resume. This is what your potential customers see before deciding to hire you or not. Just use your logos, connect your social media. If you have community partnership, add that. Have a team picture on there to make it more personable. This is just things that we've seen that consumers absolutely love, and I know just personally it's something that I like. For instance, this profile that you see right here with Trium, it's got all the bells and whistles that you're looking for. It has a clean logo, pictures about all their projects, different achievements that they have, a little bit of a write-up. They have photos, again, ratings and reviews. It's everything you're looking for if you're a consumer. and you want to just emphasize your brand as much as possible. And one thing that comes along with your Home Advisor membership that is fantastic. If somebody comes here to again, just for example, Trium's profile, and they don't hit get a quote, which would enact the exact match process, or the book now, which would be instant booking, those little thumbnails right up there. If they just decided to call that number, the 877 number that Trium has listed, that's actually a free lead. We don't get anything for that. So you really want your profile to speak to exactly who you are as a company, because again, you can get free leads out of it. And so ratings and reviews. One of the most important parts of your profile is ratings and reviews. Everyone always talks about word of mouth, word of mouth. That's how I get my jobs, referrals. But what people don't realize is that word of mouth is now online on ratings and reviews. And I wouldn't worry too much about really so let's say that you have one bad review out of 10. If anything, let's say that the other 9 are 4 stars or higher, it's adding really, it's making it seem like those 4 and 5 stars are real and true. So it's adding to the prior success that you've had. And one thing that we recommend is always responding to those ratings and reviews, whether they're great or whether they're not so great. And the ones that are great, use that time to thank them for their business. We suggest not reaching out to a referral, looking for a referral right away. That's something that you would want to do on kind of the back channels after the review has been submitted for a little bit. But even respond to the not so great reviews, and just try to better understand where the consumer is coming from. Because if I'm a consumer and I'm looking at your profile and I see a 1 star and read it, and the consumer has a fair point, but then I see right below that you're being proactive in asking exactly what happened, what went wrong, and how you can make it better, then I'd trust that profile that I'm looking at, and trust that company a lot more than an organization that isn't necessarily following up to their reviews online. And so you guys know how to calculate ROI, everybody does, but just a quick example of this, because we try to send a clear message that Home Advisor is really a marketing platform, which it is. So not to get kind of hung up on every lead that you're paying for, and why am I not closing this lead? Really just look at it in the big picture. And this is a pretty small documentation of it, but let's say that you end up buying 10 leads for us at a cost of 30 leads. 300. You close 2 of those for a total revenue of $4,000, and your gross profit is $1,200. It's an ROI of 300%, and really that's being conservative with us. And we see some pros that hit 30% conversion rate, 40% conversion rate, and especially with the different lead types that we have, that's not unheard of. So again, if you're looking at it on a lead-to-lead basis, you might not think you're doing so great, but again, from our standpoint, and how you should look at it is overall. Take a look how you've done out of 10 leads, how you've done out of 100. Do your own analysis on different zip codes. If you're already, have a Home Advisor account with us, take that data that we give you about the consumer and run some reports on it, just to see kind of where you're getting good leads from, where you're not getting leads from. And then you can take those zip codes out and also play around with some different tasks if you are able to and have the licensing for them. Yeah, that kind of wraps up what I was going to discuss. For Home Advisor enrollment, if you're not already a member, here's where you can do it. And again, you don't have to jot all this down. I'll send this over to Diane so she can send it out to the rest of you. But we have the sales team. We also have an email set up. So if you wanted to enroll, I would actually receive that message if you reached out to HPBA@homeadvisor.com. A landing page, which you can see on the right there if you want to see, which has the 7% quarterly rebate, and that will invite you to sign up as well. but yeah, I'm just really excited that we had the opportunity to do this. And now I'll unmute the lines and take any questions that you guys have. And if I'm unable to answer again, I'll loop back with Diane once I have that answer for you. So let me try to unmute real quick. All right, everyone's been unmuted, so I should be able to hear you loud and clear if anyone has some questions. And I'll ask one more time. Anybody who got questions, you might be muted on your own line if you're trying to speak right now. But I'll give it just another 30 seconds or so. See if anyone wants to jump out, if there's any brave souls out there. All right. Well, if there's no questions, I really appreciate it. And Diane, if you're still on the line, I appreciate you coordinating with me and setting this up. And hopefully, whenever there's some new information that I can share about Home Advisor, we could do it again. But thank you again, Diane.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you for doing this today.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. All right. Well, that's it, guys. I really appreciate it, and have a great rest of the week. And reach out. How I usually work is with the partner point of contact, so that would be Diane. So any questions that do come up, please reach out to Diane, and she can send them along to me. But again, have a great rest of the week, and I really appreciate the time here.